Of course they've got CCTV. But they probably deleted it for other purposes. Jaguar Land Rover as a whole, its survival is down to how good that car is. His badge is revolting. Right, you ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
You ready?
Ready?
So, welcome to episode 20 I believe,
20,
of
yeah.
VoltsMonster Interactive, the web's favourite EV show.
Really?
Well, I don't know anyone else's numbers, so it must be.
It's got to be.
Today we have Happy Virgil.
Very happy.
He's looking incredibly
I love
happy
being
today,
here.
isn't he?
I know you do. That's why you work till 10 o'clock every night. And then there's Karen Pirate to my right.
And of course you.
And of course me.
You always forget to introduce yourself.
I always forget to introduce myself because I am here, I am me, and I introduce these two.
Yeah.
Muppets.
That is your sole job during this.
I'm glad you called yourself a Muppet because now I can't be sued for that. Is that how you identify?
Do you think you'd be sued for calling you a Muppet?
I don't know. But is that what you identify as?
A
Like
Muppet.
Gonzo or something?
No, I'll go for Hannibal, I think.
Animal.
Animal.
Can you play the drums?
No, neither can Hannibal.
No, it's true.
Just hits things.
Fair enough. And what do you identify as?
Twat.
You okay?
I've been feeling a little low lately, but
What?
Apparently.
Beaker.
But wouldn't that make you useful?
This is employee abuse in the workplace.
Hang on a second, that was a compliment.
How's that a compliment?
It's a brilliant compliment.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
useful.
Ik dacht, dat kan niet. Dat mag.
You are Virgil very useful.
Virgil the Vag.
That's just wrong.
I don't know, last week I was Virgil the Vestlite, wasn't
Um,
I? So this week, Virgil the Vag. Yeah.
yeah, okay, so.
Fuck's sake. Right.
Oh dear.
I miss.
Obviously, if you're American watching this, or even Indian, you won't understand that reference. That's a very British specific reference to a show. We can thoroughly recommend it. It's called The In-Betweeners.
He shoots, he scores, right up the vag.
It's about.
Although they do have the American in-betweeners.
Do they?
Yeah, it's just absolute fucking shit.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Is that like the American? Is that like the American Office?
Well, people say the American Office is better, even though it's not really.
Really?
No, it's not. Stephen Martin and Rick Gervais.
That's like saying American bacon is better than British bacon. Britain makes the best bacon. American bacon is not very nice.
That's because we have the best pigs. We
Huh?
have the best pigs, don't we?
We definitely have some pigs.
So be wary of any man who keeps a pig farm. They will go through a body that weighs 200 pounds in about 8 minutes. That means
Some of them are in Parliament.
Yes, they are. Some of them are cannibals.
But anyway, on that note, what have we got today? So we've got a number of stories. One about a man with the inability to stop. We've got another one about a motorbike, surprisingly.
Wonder whose that is.
And then we've got another one which is about probably one of the most key vehicles in electric vehicle history that's being launched in 2025.
Interesting.
Well, the first one. Let's go in order this time. Let's go with.
So we're going for a motorbike, are we?
We are indeed.
Just for a change.
Just for a change, yeah.
So this is the news that, well, it's actually announced sometime in February that Livewire have recorded 523 models that they think are affected of their S2 Del Mar, because it just suddenly stops for no reason.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I had a Jaguar I-Pace that did that.
So, well, yeah, we'll probably go on to something about that later, but that's when you've got four wheels in contact with the ground. But
Yeah, just
when you've
some-
only got two, and you suddenly come to an abrupt stop at they're capable of 110 miles an hour. Apparently, the live wires. So yeah,
Ouch.
that could be fun.
So, has anyone had a bit of a moment on it?
Apparently not. Not that we know of. But yeah, the fault apparently is coming down to the vehicle's VSC unit, which if the voltage is too much going into it, it just turns off.
My God.
And shuts down the whole vehicle.
Do you know what? I'm a bit like that when I haven't been fed. I just shut down, turn
Like
off.
you say, if the voltage got too much, you just
Literally,
shut down and turn it off.
it does affect my voltage. Well, that's not a good story, is it?
It's not.
And actually, in normal circumstances, you normally come out with good, positive motorbike stories. But that's definitely a...
I wouldn't want to be on that when that happened. So
No.
I mean, yeah.
It does remind me a little bit of a petrol motorbike, the Suzuki TL, which basically drove entirely normally until you went round a bend. And then the front end of it would suddenly go, and you would basically fall off in the road and die.
My first bike.
And Suzuki went, no, nothing wrong with that at all. And then basically every time they went in for a service, fitted steering dampers to them.
I think some of the early GSXs affected with that as well. But
The TL was
You
known.
could
The
suddenly
TL
just
was
go
actually known as the Widowmaker, which is never a good nickname for a motorbike. You know, but I can also tell you a story about that.
Go on.
And as we don't have a letter this week, which is really disappointing, so please send us a letter. We love your letters. So the Widowmaker. So in my O-level English. You had to write a story. So for Americans, you don't know what O levels are. They're basically the exam. now, right? At the end of high school, you have to do some exams. Is that? It's called high school. So in between getting shot as you leave, it's those exams. And anyway, so. In the exam, I had to write a story. Anyway, so I read the thing, and it basically was an interesting thing. Mm-hmm. Except I read it as Windowmaker. So I spent 2 hours writing a.
Did you pass your road level?
Hang on, it gets better, right? So I wrote this whole story about the Windowmaker. Got to like 5 minutes before the end of the exam, read it and went, oh crap, right? Oh my God, right? So I thought, so I looked through it. I thought, oh. So I then tore the last 2 pages off and rewrote the ending. So the ending was, it was all about a Windowmaker, and then all the windows fell out and killed people, making the Widowmaker. So, right?
Saved by the fucking bell, isn't it?
Right? And the best bit about it was, right, I passed. But you can imagine the person who's marking it going, where's this going? He's misread this.
Then
Right?
suddenly,
So I am qualified in English, but the funniest thing about that was that I wrote the last 2 pages in 10 minutes. I'm not sure it was the greatest ending in history, but then, you know, we've all seen a feature film where the ending is just shit. Right? In English, the qualification is not based on the quality of your ending, is it?
It's not, no.
It's only based on your ability to confuse the shit out of the person reading it.
Yeah.
Anyway, on from Widowmakers, and on to another potential Widowmaker, being the next story, the electric car driver. No, this one here.
But that's my one. I thought you were talking about your one. Okay, right. This is my story.
Come on, Virgil. Get with it.
I've gone
Get your badge in gear, come on.
Hang on.
His badge is revolting.
I've actually gone to something else, isn't it? There's no back.
How have you ended up
I
with...
don't know, there's no back button.
Yes, there is.
Where? There? It's greyed out.
What did you do?
I don't know what it is.
It does on the upside. It does show another one.
It's another eyepiece.
I'll tell you how we can do that. Don't pull the wire when I'm trying to touch it.
Just going to stop and it's just going to shut down.
Stop. The voltage has got too much.
There you go. So there you go.
Well, thank you very much, James.
I found your original one, which I couldn't get up before. So, basically, this is a story that Virgil got very excited about.
I got very excited about
In fact, he posted it on the chat for today's thing yesterday. Which is unheard of.
That is unheard of.
So, well done.
Thank you.
Didn't I post a story to you last night as well?
You did send it to me last night, so it wasn't very original.
No.
So, come on, Virgil. Tell us all about it.
Well, a runaway electric car has been boxed in by police cars. It basically got rammed. The brakes failed on a Jaguar I-Pace on the motorway, which is the highway for you Americans. And
or the freeway.
Or the freeway.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's more of a freeway than a highway.
It is.
Or the interstate.
It could be an interstate.
I don't drive. I don't fucking know. So...
Yeah, but not my fault. You're a loser.
So anyway, the Jaguar I-Pace has had its brakes failed.
There is a funny thing here. It says motorway police use several vehicles to guide the vehicle to a halt.
Right. Why is that?
Well, it's never going to be guided to a halt. They just, given the headline, scroll up. Police ram runaway vehicle.
Ram.
The other thing is it does say they brakes failed on the M62. Now, the M62 is the motorway that goes into Manchester, isn't it?
Yes.
So the chances are someone in Manchester stole something off the car, which is why it didn't stop.
Well, it does say they started on the M58.
Which is M57, which is actually... Isn't the M57 the road that goes into Liverpool?
I see where you're going, yeah.
Are they wearing shell suits? Oh, the driver isn't there.
No.
He's probably terrified having been rammed by a police car. But it is...
worrying, isn't it?
The funny thing is, right, I had an I-Pace.
Yes, and it
You had the opposite.
And it did exactly the opposite. So on the M5, I'm on the M5, elevated section of the M5. If you don't know where that is, it's a raised up bit of the M5. And it is slightly terrifying going over there in the wet. In the dark. Because the barriers don't... I always look at those barriers and think...
They don't look very substantial, do they?
No, they don't. Anyway, so I was doing 70 miles an hour, sort of on my own, right? My I-Pace suddenly stopped in the middle of the motorway. Literally went a crash avoidance thing. You know the same crash avoidance on a Tesla that doesn't work, right? It basically decided that there was something
he didn't like and wanted
braked,
to throw on.
and the only upside to it is Aaron, who was in the passenger seat, basically hit himself in the face with a McDonald's chicken nugget.
Was he eating something?
He was, yes.
Surprise.
Fortunately, it wasn't anything larger that he would. But he kind of let out a scream, which in between chicken nuggets was unusual for Aaron. So, yeah, it was quite a moment. And had anyone been near me, I'd have got probably hit up the bum. Some of us here might like that, but...
So it's interesting that, all manufacturers are going to do something about this, that particularly with the brakes failing, that, in an old ICE vehicle and one with gears, you could at least change down and pull on the handbrake. Well, given the age, most ICE vehicles now have push-button handbrakes, but, there's
which
got
are
to be,
shit.
They are pretty shit. So, wondering if manufacturers are going to build in some sort of control that
I can't remember, but something says to me in the back of my brain, I think the brakes in the I-Pace are actually fly-by-wire.
Right.
I don't know why I think that, which I may be wrong. So if JLR are watching this, do not sue us. It's just what I believe I was told.
Which would kind of make sense. Why would you need hydraulically operated?
Well, and obviously they've got regenerative braking as well, which is basically saves you braking. So I suspect at the point they were around, they weren't going that fast. What is interesting, it does say the safety of clients and vehicles is JLR's highest priority. Well, I can tell you, when my brakes stopped me in the middle of the road at 70 miles an hour, fortunately there was no one near me, it took them about a week to get the car in, then looked at it, and then went, it looks like it might need a software update. That was the extent of their interest.
Is that a catch-all now, isn't it? The software update.
Yeah, it's like 1990s Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Oh look, the big swirling blue screen of death, followed by a software update, and everything's fine. Turn it off, turn it back on. What did happen later that evening was I then ran out of energy when it went from like 20% to nil in about 400 yards.
So all the regen that suddenly generated braking didn't work.
It then resulted in me being delivered home in a police van.
Not the first time.
No, but it was a moment where, and that police officer sped all the way home in a 30. And I said to him, I was sat in the front seat and said to him, if I drove down here at the speed you're driving, would you give me a ticket? And he went, no, probably not.
There you go, guys. They wouldn't give you a ticket.
Obviously, I'm not going to rely on that, and haven't, because I never speed. Apart from when I got done in Wales.
This is going back to what we said about having the best pigs in Britain. In the world.
I didn't say any of that.
I did.
He said that.
I did.
And if Mr. Policeman is watching this, he called you a pig.
Guess
wasn't me.
Guess who's getting beaten up in a dark alley in Torquay this weekend?
I did what? Well, no, you wouldn't do, because what actually happened in Torquay over the weekend, last weekend, was a man came along and broke all of the windows in the police station. Amazingly, right? He managed to break all of them before any of them came out. And then 17 of them came out at once.
17?
Yeah.
Right.
And just stood there looking at him.
Amazing.
And apparently they then arrested him. And he apparently had all kind. They say he had all sorts of weapons, knives, hammers, whatever. Right? Whether he did or he didn't is not our concern. What is our concern? Apparently he did it. This is what they say on Spotted Torquay. So this isn't necessarily true. This isn't a reliable source. Apparently he did it because he wanted somewhere to sleep and a meal.
That'll do it. Yep.
Why he didn't just walk in and say, "Can I have somewhere to sleep and a meal, please?"
It's not as much fun though, is it?
No. So now the police station's all boarded up.
Interesting.
So are you now looking it up?
I'm trying to find it.
Here you go, arrest after. They make it sound like they did a lot of investigation. They literally walked outside.
Oh, well, that's a long story, isn't it? Right.
But the amazing thing is, the police have asked anyone who witnessed the incident or has information to gossip.
There's 17 of them there.
There
was CCTV?
Of course they've got CCTV. But they probably deleted it for other purposes. Because that's never happened. Right?
My sister actually works in Torquay Police Station.
Oh, it now says there was 4 windows were damaged. So I may have been slightly misleading. But then that relies on the BBC being accurate.
Man in the 30s.
But he's remained in police custody.
The Force. I thought we weren't allowed to call it the Force anymore.
It isn't the Force, it's a service, as they keep telling us. That's why they dress up like soldiers. Nothing to do with being service.
No, not at all.
Sorry, anyway, look, we're getting off the point here.
Yeah, slightly.
He called you that word.
What word?
I'm not saying it. Anyway, Jaguar are investigating it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what their investigation will give out.
Software update.
software update. And I wonder what the Manchester police have now said about it. Because are they going to go and do this? Let's say there's a whole spate of them. Because there's that Netflix thing that's been on, where all the Teslas go mad.
Yes.
And start returning.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Interesting. Yeah. What will they do?
So, if you're a Manchester police officer, please write in and tell us what your strategy is for containing rogue eyepaces. Or any other rogue car. Obviously...
We'll make an interesting letter for next week.
It will, yeah. Manchester Police hopefully will write to us. And...
Put down a donut, pick up a pen.
Absolutely. Do they sell donuts in Manchester?
Probably. Krispy Kreme, innit?
Oh yeah, of course. They probably wear shell suits as well.
Crispy
ones. Anyway, so interesting story.
Yeah. Next story. It's you, Gaffer.
So,
Gaga.
the most interesting EV story currently about
Go on.
is this one, which is the new Range Rover EV, and that includes the Sport EV, are allegedly coming in 2025. Now, my suggestion is this is the most pivotal EV in history.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason it's pivotal is that other companies have produced EVs, but none is as iconic as a Range Rover.
As a Range Rover, yeah.
That said, as a traditionally big Land Rover fan, I bought many Land Rovers. I'm not buying anymore.
Why?
One, because they're hideously, ridiculously expensive, because Land Rover have suddenly decided that they only want rich people to buy cars. So my Land Rover Discovery, if I replaced it tomorrow, would be nearly £80,000. Just 5 or 6 years ago, the same car was about 52.
Fuck.
Right?
That's an increase.
And now you can actually buy a Range Rover that's over 350 grand. Obviously, you do need mental health support if you buy that vehicle.
I think I need mental health support if I depart over £300,000.
But the point is, it's such an iconic car traditionally. It will be worth watching just how it performs. And I believe that Jaguar Land Rover as a whole, its survival is down to how good that car is. What they will then go on to do is do what they've done so far, which is produce about 85 different niches at the same price point, and then wonder why no one buys any of them. Because what they've done is bastardise their customer base. But given that a Land Rover Defender is like a 110 Land Rover Defender, you get no change out of 100 grand. It's staggeringly expensive. So hopefully Adrian Mardell, who's the CEO, will come to his senses and stop making cars that look like jellies and start producing cars that stop. Yeah, anyway, so the point of this is Adrian Mardell has said that he is operating a little bit slower than usual, which is saying something for a JLR. But they've committed to have about 6 models by 2026.
That's quite a commitment.
Yeah. So, well, they're basically all going to be the same car.
Well,
with a different body.
Different body on it, okay.
But that's my reading between the lines. Obviously, Autocar, which is a quality motoring publication, has done some renders of cars that they think are going to be produced, such as the Discovery Sport, which used to be the Freelander, so they can basically charge a lot more money for it. And then there's going to be a big luxurious barge kind of Jaguar. Exactly what it looks like. They keep saying they're going to produce an electric Jaguar, and other than the I-Pace, they haven't.
Yeah.
They were mid-development of an XJ.
But the rapid 4-door GT version looks quite nice.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that the point I make is valid. That it becomes one of the most pivotal EVs in history. Mm-hmm. No other EV is as important as Jaguar and Land Rover getting this right.
They've got more than 16,000 interested buyers already signed up to the waiting list.
Interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Interestingly, talking of which, Renault announced this week on the Renault 5, which we featured in our last episode, have already got 50,000 registered deposit paid buyers.
Is that a bonus story?
Nice.
So,
Renault
5 EV.
Yeah, there you go.
50,000 buyers. Yep.
And it's 25 grand.
That's going to give
reasonable.
MG quite a...
Absolutely, and
Run for their
do you
money,
know what?
right?
I think that might be the French government have decided that they're not going to allow Chinese to take over.
Interesting.
So almost, it's my guess is it's being subsidised because obviously the French government own part of Renault.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Exactly how much they own, I can't remember.
Like that.
But there's that whole weird thing with Renault and
the 5.
the 5. Yeah, the 5 always used to have things like that. But anyway, it looks really cute.
And they've managed to maintain a bit of a,
There's the key points.
legacy of the old.
Yeah, it looks like the old 5. I remember the old 5 because my mate had one. And
I
he
had one with the
you
handback gear stick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So my mate had one, and the funniest thing about that is when they engineered it for right-hand drive, from left-hand drive, they went, how are we going to get the clutch cable from one side to the other? So what they did was they made it really long and then attached it to the exhaust manifold. So basically, it then melted together. So you'd be driving along,
Suddenly you
put your foot on the clutch, and you go, snap. And in a GT Turbo,
you didn't want that to happen.
you didn't want that to happen. Because, you might be going into a corner or something like that. Because obviously in the 80s, driving quite quickly was a quite accepted form of transport. Now it's not accepted.
It's frowned upon.
So we like that a lot.
Yeah, but it's got a 400 kilometre driving range.
So it says, 400 kilometres sounds better than 320 miles. Isn't it? Is that right? Is that my maths correct?
Or you could say...
But for a small,
for a small little car, it's great.
It's not bad. Yeah. It's not bad at all.
So we like that a lot. Hopefully they won't try and produce the convertible one that they tried to produce in the 80s.
Did they do a convertible?
Yeah, there was a
I
couple.
don't remember that.
Yeah. It was a very...
It would have been ugly as
It was particularly ugly and wobbled an awful lot. But anyway, we like that. And we're back to the Range Rover, I think. I did get overtaken yesterday by a BMW, I think it was called an iX2, right?
Okay.
And it was in matte grey, like primer grey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was in that colour. And it was quite fast, right? Hell, it was ugly. I looked at it and thought, there's a car your mother would only love.
Your mother would slap when it came out.
But it was, on the back of it, his badging, I think, was iX2M something or other. It was like, sounds like a washing machine. It's like Samsung named a washing machine. But hopefully we'll drive one soon.
We can see just how ugly it really is.
Yeah, it was particularly ugly. Like a slapped clunge. And I think we go on to the next story.
Which is?
Which is about Mark's Mark's holiday.
Is it? Go on. Why is it about my holiday?
Well, it says the UK sleepwalking into an EV crisis after government budget snub. Right? Obviously, the budget snub applies to you as well.
Why?
Because you got 2p off your national insurance, which means
Oh, blimey.
you'll earn £200 a year more.
Wow.
Is that And of course, you're going to Marbella or wherever it is you're going on holiday. Oh, Malaga, even worse. Right? Right? So you've got quite in common with EVs.
Interesting.
So,
But I actually just noticed that picture. How old is that picture?
which one? That one.
The top picture.
The top one's quite funny because they've used a stock image and it's got electric highway.
On there. Exactly.
They've been called grid serve for a long time. So, Autocar, surely you could have sent one of your journalists out to take a photograph. It is incredibly lazy.
Name and shame, Will Rimmel.
So, Will Rimmel.
Will Rimmel.
All you had to do.
Will Rimmel.
He likes a bit of rim. Will Rimmel, please tell us why. Write in. Let us know why you couldn't go and actually take a picture of an accurate photograph. I don't think they even fit those chargers anymore. They're replacing them, aren't they?
Yeah, they've all gone, and they're not even called the electric highway anymore.
Well, no, they could just call grid shit. Oh, sir, sorry. Sorry.
So shit.
Very good.
That's very good. He's getting good, isn't he? Right. You wind him up over a number of
But he's
weeks.
still got that sort of nonchalant, just throw it out there look about it.
I don't give a shit Mark at this point, to be honest. I fucking, you know what I mean? Sat here. Most of the time I don't know what you're on about. I'm just fucking... I'm just here for the
You're just here for the ride, aren't you?
Ride.
You love a good ride.
Yeah. I don't even get paid anymore, I just fucking... Do you know what I mean? Just sit here.
You don't want to be paid anymore. Excellent. Accepted. So Virgil's accepted a pay cut of 100%. So the national insurance drop will
Plus the 2p.
Won't affect me. Yeah, just...
won't affect him at all.
Does that mean you get 2p in the pound back? Like,
I think you would still have to pay national insurance, on that basis.
oh, yeah.
Fucking Rishi Sunak.
Obviously, our Chancellor in the UK is called Hunt. Doesn't, of course, ride with anything. And it's really... I always think it's ironic when you've got, like, the 50th richest man who's our Prime Minister.
Mm-hmm.
Basically because he slept with a very rich woman, right? Who's like the 10th richest woman on earth or something, right? And then the Chancellor is called Hunt, and he's also rich, right? And he came on telly last week and he went, I'm not going to come out with any gimmicks because the British public are too intelligent for that.
Wow.
Right? And you kind of go, don't you love it when a rich bloke is really patronising, condescending to the entire population of the UK? Yes, we don't do gimmicks because we know you're a lying bag of shit.
To believe a word you say anyway.
And of course,
we know we're going to get slaughtered, so we just might as well lay down and put up with it.
and it's probably the worst, while we're on the subject of the budget, it was probably one of the worst budgets in history, but not for the reason that most people would say. Do you know what that is?
Go on.
Go on. Why do you think the budget was terrible? Most people would say because my fags got more expensive, or my drink got more expensive, which it didn't, or petrol went down, which it did.
Just to clarify.
No, it just stayed down.
Just to clarify, fags for American viewers. Fags means cigarettes,
Yes.
not gay guys.
Okay, and that's a good point. And but not for those reasons.
Go on. What's the reasons?
Are you flying business class?
You paying?
No.
No, I'm not. No.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll be all right because they brought in a new tax. This shows the lack of intelligence of Mr. Hunt, right? So he went, genius idea. How I will get the British public on my side.
Tax business class.
So what we'll do is we'll put an extra tax on business, what are called business class flights. So what are all the airlines going to do? They're just going to call. They're just going to call them economy in future, aren't they? And call the other ones just rubbish, right? Anyway, beside the point. So his way of convincing the public to vote for him is make it look like people who get business class flights are rich.
Oh, they're rich. Mm-hmm.
In reality, I've flown business class a couple of times, right? And I've flown economy class the rest of the time, which is most of the time. And to be honest, it's about the same. You get a slightly better chair, but I'm 6'4",
So it doesn't make a great deal of difference to you.
It makes. I can't lie down on the stupid bed seats, which is actually more uncomfortable than sitting in a economy seat next to a fat bloke. And actually, the person who should pay more than me
Is the fat bloke.
should be the fat bloke.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, more to the
probably
point. Do you
will
want to know the
finish
real
it.
reason why it's a bad idea?
Go on.
Go on.
It shows that Mr. Hunt,
Jezza.
Jezza Hunt, and if you're watching this, you have zero imagination and zero credibility. And the reason is we all know that the British state is way too big. So the easiest way to have more money is fire all the civil servants. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Was there a single civil servant lost their job yesterday in the budget?
Probably not. Let's see there.
Right. And do you know how you do that? Really simply?
Go on.
Simple things like don't have car tax. Gets rid of 400 people in Wales. We didn't get rid of the people. Gets rid of the DVLA. Right? There is no reason to have car tax, which is, if you're an American, it's money you pay allegedly to repair the roads that they basically spend on drink and fags in the Houses of Parliament.
Cigarettes.
And our roads get even worse state.
And the roads get worse. Right? How much would that save?
Mm-hmm.
400 people on 40 grand a year each. That's a lot, right? So if you apply that across all of government and take out all the things that are unnecessarily administered, can you imagine how much money you'd save?
You'd save an absolute fortune.
So, Mr. Hunt, there is a lesson in this. Come up with an industrial strategy for the UK and sort out the taxation policy. Like, make it a flat rate for everyone. Then you haven't got fraud, you haven't got all those things. But instead, no, he comes out with, I'll save you 2p on your national insurance and carry on employing all the idiots who administer it.
Well done.
So that's my rant for today. Nothing to do with EVs, but the common thing is there was nothing in the budget to support EVs either.
At all. Yeah.
So, common subject, and it's in common with your holiday. So,
there you go.
What are you going to Malaga for? Because there's literally nothing there other than an airport.
It's a very cultural city.
Fuck off, is it?
It is.
No, it's not. I've been there. It's not. It's basically
Well,
Malaga.
you're not a cultural person, so you wouldn't know the cultural places.
That's a bit insulting. Hang on a second. Malaga basically is an airport and a motorway with a number of supermarkets.
It's the old sector as well. So
It's about that big.
Yeah, that's all you need. Plenty of time to get around. Very nice beaches, apart from down the other end. But
No, one end of it's horrific. I don't want to disparage any of our Spanish, I guess.
I will let you know next week and find out. We should be able to.
So was it how did you end up booking Malaga of all places?
I didn't. It was booked for me as a surprise, which I know all about.
So I booked you a surprise.
I'm going there for my birthday, so yeah, there you go.
When's your birthday? When's your birthday?
My birthday's on Monday.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Wow.
And
he's got to write in and wish Mark happy birthday.
And he's 66.
66. That's nearly
Fucking
67.
brilliant. If I was, I could retire then.
Bloody hell.
Well, no, I couldn't.
So, in Mark's world, he's basically flying to a shithole to get laid.
Wow.
Probably.
Well, it's that time of year then, isn't
That
it?
time of year, yes.
I wonder what I'll be doing.
Birthdays,
in 42 years.
Christmas. Huh?
I wonder what I'll be doing in 42 years.
Probably sat on a stool
Yeah.
with piles.
Exactly. Still none the wiser how the fucking surface works.
He's
He's broken it.
But yeah, look.
But that does mean that I am going to miss out on BM21.
No, you won't. We'll wait till you get back.
Will you? Oh,
Yeah, because we
yes.
want to come. We want you to bring us a gift.
Yeah, we do need you, otherwise it'll just be James talking to me, just going, yeah, morning.
So we're going to wait. We are going to wait for you to get back.
I should come back with some duty-free fags for the Americans. There you go. Taxless fags.
Tax-free
What
fags.
do you want?
I mean, Mark is actually referring to gay people there. So.
I'm not sure you should have to explain the joke.
Yeah.
But obviously, if they're tax-free fags, you're going to effectively smuggle them.
Yeah, probably.
But you don't smoke fags anymore, do you?
Not anymore, no.
You've given up licking fags, anyway. But the funny thing about Mark was he used to smoke ones with camels on.
Camels.
Oh, I remember those.
So he used to get... Mark not only mounts like seals from behind with a blanket, he would go up and suck on a camel.
Suck on a camel.
Fucking hell. Did have a good hump, don't you, Mark?
Yeah. So,
There you go.
what other things are coming from your holiday?
I don't know. It's going to be a surprise.
Is it all a surprise?
It's all I know is I'm going to Malaga. That's it.
Where are you flying from?
From Exeter.
Oh.
Really easy. Yeah.
Good.
Nice and simple.
Should we go and fly the drone?
Yeah, let's go fly after. Yeah. So wait till it takes off and flies straight into the engine.
Although that might be considered as a terrorist attack by suggesting
good,
that.
Exactly, yeah.
I was joking. Obviously, if his plane gets delayed because of a drone, it was nothing to do with us. So it's going to be a complete surprise.
Complete surprise, yeah.
Do you know what? I wish I knew where you were staying because I'd give you a surprise when you got there.
That sounds obvious.
No, you'd like it a lot. I'd deliver a seal for you to blow on.
Fucking hell.
Do they have seals in the Mediterranean?
Yeah.
Do they?
Mediterranean seals, yeah.
What they look like?
Mediterranean seals.
You're the seal
I
expert.
have no idea. I presume they do, yeah.
I thought seals just like cold water.
No.
Because I thought they like pelagic fish or anti-pelagic fish or whatever. They like deep fish, don't
They
they?
prefer deep, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's equivalent to me as if I know anything about fucking seals. No, I have no idea.
What do you mean you don't know anything about seals?
I know they're fucking like wet dogs.
Wet dogs.
Yeah, they're basically sea dogs, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. I know they've got whiskers.
It sounds like...
Which end?
It sounds like Benedict's last girlfriend.
It does actually.
Wet with whiskers.
Yeah.
Obviously that's not the cat food.
Oh, what an image. No, I don't want to go there.
This is why, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It's got a laugh on you.
And on that note,
What have you learned?
what have we learnt today?
What have we learned?
We've learnt that Mark likes to suck on a camel.
Not anymore.
We also learned that he's surprised by trips to Malaga.
Yeah. And Jeremy Hunt.
And we've also learned that there is a man called Jeremy Hunt.
And his actual name is...
He said that.
I did say that.
You might want to...
That would be his rat name, wouldn't it?
General.
He's hardly Eminem though, because he's got the most annoying voice, which is saying something for me. But he's one of the most irritating people on earth.
I try to avoid him.
There's a
Fucking hell, we nearly made it to the end.
And I had it on Do Not Disturb as
Shit,
well.
well, you fucking failed, didn't
Do
you?
you want to know the best bit about that?
Oh.
His ringtone, which is the Antichrist,
Yeah,
is his wife.
it's amazing. I think my dad's is War of the Worlds. I have no idea. It's
Why?
I don't know, I was 12 years old, I thought it was funny.
Well, you changed it to that,
Yeah.
and he's had it ever since.
Yeah.
Since you were 12.
Since I was 12.
Has he upgraded his phone at all? Or?
Yeah, that's my phone. It's Apple's news.
He's actually got a phone.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
25. So he's actually got an Apple phone that
that
works at 30. What?
No, so I had that phone. His ringtone when he calls me is what works.
Right.
Oh, I get it.
Right.
You said you set it for him.
Yeah, I set it.
On your phone?
For him, yeah, I set it for him to call me so that... Fuck me.
So has your dad got 3 legs?
He's got 3 letters in his name.
What other War of the Worlds things is there? So basically...
Red Mist.
So Kev from Paynton...
Brixham. Yeah.
That explains a lot. We had this thing a couple of weeks ago, didn't we?
We did.
Where we were talking about how Virgil was his real name. He was named after a choice of Sol Campbell, Rio Ferdinand, or Ben the dog, the black Labrador, right? And now obviously you can see Virgil looks nothing like any of them.
I mean, it has getting a bit doggish, but...
You've got a few whiskers.
Yeah, got a few whiskers.
But then Rio Ferdinand has that beard, but obviously you didn't have that when you were born, I assume.
No.
Obviously your parents are from Brixham, so you might well have had it when you were born.
He probably did when he was halfway out of his mum because like it would have been ravaging.
Mum, if you're watching this.
Looking down.
Yeah, inside joke.
I think that's a bit harsh. Because that means I have to imagine Virgil like this.
What's in store for me? VoltsMonster.
Yeah.
Where am I going to be in 25 years? Sitting on a stool.
So
Shit.
So little did his mother know when she passed him.
Right, so nice. I'm now a walking shit.
Would he be sat on a stool in Paynton, having escaped from Brixham?
I'm a fucking kidney stone. That's what I've come to.
Anyway, so what else have we learned? We've learned that you have a beard when you're born. So anyway, what else have we learned?
What else have we learned?
Police cars can be used to stop runaway EVs.
Yeah, police cars can be used to stop Manchester runaway EVs, which I think that's just called a stolen vehicle.
Police officers will only stop people after they've committed the crime. 17.
Yeah, they just wait until all their windows are broken. Then go, "You've committed a crime now."
And they won't give you a ticket for speeding as well, apparently.
No, and that's the other thing, that a police car driving you home is allowed to speed in a residential area. Yeah. And on that note, I think it brings VoltsMonster to the end. And if you like this, you need to like, subscribe, and click on the bell. And a little bit of news is we are updating our channel.
We are indeed.
So there will be a new page very shortly, and we want you to join us for it. On that note, it's bye from Virgil.
Bye.
While we pass over
I'm really excited about it.
I don't give a shit.
to Karen Pirate,
Yeah.
who's going on his emergency scary trip.
Yeah.
Sorry, surprise trip.
Surprise trip.
To spend a week with his wife. Lucky you.
Lucky me.
No, Malaga.
Good old Malaga. Living it up. We'll see you again.